For thousands of years, Chinese people have seen tea as medicine. Before the Han Chinese, it was the Yudenese Aboriginal people who used that plant as their primary medicine. My teacher always talks about the Yudenese tribes. There's over 280 of them. They've been kind of reduced down now, but all of them believe that their tribe is descended from tea. It's a foundational plant for these people. In Chinese medicine, tea is a shang herb. So shang is our connection to heaven. So when we drink tea, we often feel sort of that we go inwards and we feel connected to ourselves. We feel like maybe we're connected to the people who are around us, and we feel connected to the nature and the world in which we live. And this is very much what the primary essence of tea's medicine, what it is it reconnects us. And so when we create a space and drink tea in a more reverent way, we start to awaken these feelings within us. We start to feel more connected. We start to experience some quietude and stillness as we sort of enter into this place of who we really are. And so that's why it's such an important medicine for Chinese people and just humankind. It's the second most consumed substance on earth. So the first of the two teas that we have in partnership with Shackpalace is this one here, which is Absorption. This is a really special tea. It's one of our all-time favorites at Cloud Hidden. It's a 1990s show pour, so it's from Yunnan, and actually this was owned and bought by one merchant in the 90s. So it's very rare. This is a loose leaf tea. Show pour, it often ends up being a lot lower quality raw material than shan pour because they're doing a fermentation process and they're piling and composting it, that you lose a bit of the essence of the tea as opposed to aging it naturally over time. So a lot of producers are really hesitant to use high quality and really old growth trees because it's not as expensive and not as valued as much. But with this one, what they used is some huangpian leaves. Sometimes they're called summer leaves. They basically are the larger leaves that sit on the tree. So tea often is just the buds that are picked, and the leaves that are further down the tree aren't as desirable. But what's great about those leaves is they age really quickly because the cell wall is more stretched, and also you can have some of these older growth trees that you wouldn't normally have in this sort of tea. And it's also being aged by one person. So often with this is a loose leaf tea, so it's not in a cake, so it's very hard to tell vintage. And often suppliers and vendors will blend teas together to make it seem older, but with this one here, it's been with one vendor for the whole time, so it hasn't been mixed with anything. It's been aged really well in Taiwan, and it's just a beautiful tea. One of the things with these bigger leaves, the summer leaves, is they're more yin in nature. So what I mean by that is if you think about a bud, then it's unfurling. The movement is outward, it's young life. This is a big leaf that sits on the tree and absorbs. It absorbs sunlight, does photosynthesis, all this. So it's actually more about absorbing, it's more yin. So it's more about this movement inwards. That's why we call this tea absorption, because as you drink it, it'll be dark and rich. From a Chinese medicine perspective, it's very warming. So it's great on colder days, colder mornings, late afternoons or evenings when you really want to move inwards. This tea will be great for that. Just to quiet your mind down, absorb into yourself, and just create space and ritual in your life. So the second tea we have is Ascension. This again, I would say actually both of these teas are two of our absolute favorite. Ascension is a really stunning tea from Taiwan. It's a red tea. So the first sort of question that comes into our mind is what is red tea? Because actually we all have an experience with red tea, we just don't know it. So in the West, what we call black tea is what we would call red tea in a seven genre category. Red tea in Chinese is Hong Cha, and Hong is literally red, and Cha is tea, so it's literally red tea. So Ascension's red tea from Sun Moon Lake. Sun Moon Lake is a place in Taiwan. It's the highest body of water in the island, so it sits really close to the sky. Red tea is great because in that oxidization process, people will say fully oxidized, but it's never truly fully oxidized, but it's more oxidized than most other teas. So what that means is the cell wall has really started to break down, and then also through the processing method where they roll, the leaf breaks down a lot and the cells break down a lot. And what that means is there's a lot of the tea's essence that comes out when you drink this tea. So this tea is much more activating. This is a great tea to drink in the morning. It's called Ascension because you'll feel yourself elevated as you drink it. You'll feel your mind start to clear and you'll be ready for your day. This is loose leaf striped tea, so it comes in big large leaves, and you can just take even a small handful and put that in a bowl or in a pot, and you can just drink it straight like that. You don't even need anything else to brew with. This is a very simple tea, but also a truly amazing tea. The trees that this tea is processed from are the oldest tea trees in Taiwan. They were actually left to go wild after World War II, after the Japanese invaded. And then only about 20 years ago did a farmer actually restart cultivating. So they were semi-wild, and he actually left them like that. So this is what we call a living tea. It's tea that's very much grown within biodiversity, completely clean. There's no chemicals, there's no pesticides in this tea. It is a really stunning tea that is going to awaken and enliven your life, and it's something you can drink every day.